Welcome everyone. Today in this video, I'm going to show you how to correctly record your PlayStation 2 console using your capture card. I'm going to show you all the equipment, how to set everything up, and making sure that you get the best quality possible out of your PlayStation 2. But first, we need to go through all the equipment first to understand what you need. So the first thing you're going to need is a capture card, and the one I have here is the ElgatoHD60 S. And of course, there's many different models, or if you have a different capture card, you can still follow along as well. But just remember that the Elgato only likes to record at progressive scan, which is unfortunate for the PlayStation 2 that most PlayStation 2 games out there only like 480i, which is interlace. So we're going to find some ways to get around it so that we can record at least at 480p so that we can capture our gameplay to our capture card. So the next thing you're going to need is going to be the PlayStation 2 model. And of course, it doesn't matter if it's the slim or fat model, but we are going to use that AV multi-out, and we're going to use component cables. Now, I know most of you are already going to put it down in the comments below. Can I use that PS2 to HDMI adapter or upscaler? Unfortunately, I never use one, guys. I never own one. And I know there's so many of them on Amazon, on eBay, and you could buy one. They're cheap. But when it comes to cheap, you do not know if that quality will actually be good on your television or on the capture card. So again, I cannot guarantee that those will actually work. You have to test that out for yourself. And at the very end of the day, guys, just remember that a lot of these type of adapters, or at least the PlayStation 2 to HDMI, are mostly going to be at 720p or sometimes 1080p. So just be careful with that, because again, we're trying to make sure everything is at actual aspect ratio, the original way the PlayStation 2 games were at 4:3 and not at 16:9. So that is why we need component cables. So the component cables I have here are from HD Retrovision, which I do recommend that you do check out their website. But as well, I bought these on Amazon. But overall, guys, these cables are really amazing. I know there's a lot of more generic component cables that you can buy on Amazon or in your local retro stores and all that, or even get the official ones from PlayStation. But good luck with those, because they're mostly going to be at a very high price. But with these component cables, I mean, they are really amazing, guys. I mean, you want to play traditionally how they were meant to play from old analog, then these cables are what you need. I do recommend them. I know getting some of those, again, budget ones, yes, they will work. Most of the time they will, but you never know if the quality is going to be there or they don't degrade over time. And I already had these for more than 3 to 4 years. And once again, I do recommend them. They are amazing. And of course, all you have to do is plug it into the back of the PS2. But now we need some sort of device in order for us to connect our component cables to our capture card. So in the beginning of the video, I have placed 3 different devices, which are component to HDMI converter boxes / upscalers. But the true winner is going to be the RetroTink 2X Pro. I have made a review on this, and I'll leave it down in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. But the other two, yes, there are more cheaper options or more budget options, but I decided to make a separate video showing you on why some of these products may have pros and cons when it comes to connecting to your capture card. So I didn't want to include it in this particular video because, again, it was going to be too long of a video. So I didn't want to do that. So again, if you want to check out everything when it comes to the pros and cons, when it comes to component to HDMI converter boxes / upscalers, I will leave that video down in the description. So we're going to go along ahead and use, of course, the RetroTink 2X Pro to connect everything with our component cables to HDMI, and of course making sure that we do get a connection for our video capture device. So whatever converter box you're going to use, make sure you connect the cables as what they are intended to be, audio and video. So we had 2 audio jacks, red and white, and the videos are going to be green, blue, and red. Just connect them, and that's pretty much it. That's it for the component cables. But of course, there's something different with the RetroTink 2X Pro that has 2 buttons, which is comb and mode. Now, comb is just to make sure that we have a good signal to whatever console we are playing. So for retro, I recommend using older generation consoles, while auto is mostly meant for laser disc games and newer generation consoles. So I recommend keeping it at auto for the PlayStation 2. Now mode is going to be a little bit different because mode is making the older resolution go into 480p, which is line tune X. But using pass is mostly meant for 480i games, which is great. But unfortunately, as I said before, the Elgato device does not like 480i. So right now I am going to show you a video on what happens when you use the pass mode on the RetroTink 2X Pro. So right now I'm going to show you right here on pass mode that it is selected on the RetroTink 2X Pro. As you can see, the television, it looks great. There is a signal. But when I turn on the audio, there's no audio coming out because again, this is at 480i, and unfortunately my device is not showing me. Oh, there you go. It's at 480 by 60i, and remember, the Elgato does not like 480i at all. But right now we're going to switch it over to the Elgato software. So here it is, the Elgato software, as you can see, is at 480i, and I'm going to show you that the audio is distorted. So there you go, guys. That is why we don't use the pass mode on the RetroTink 2X Pro. So finally, after everything is plugged in, you're going to get one of your HDMI cables, plug it to the back of your converter box, and the other end, you're going to connect it to the input source of your Elgato or whatever capture card you're using, and this is where you're going to get the signal from your PlayStation 2. And then the final HDMI that you're going to use is going to connect to your television or your monitor. And as you can see, it's going to be the output source, which is going to go out again to your television or monitor. And finally, after that, you connect your Type-C cable and you're ready to go to start recording your PlayStation 2 console. So now everyone, I'm going to show you the settings I use for OBS Studio. So we're going to go right here in controls, go to settings. And for my video, I have it at 1080p, 60 frames per second. That's pretty much it. Now for output, I go to recording and I use the advanced output. And for my recording format, I keep it at MKV. Because every time I record, just in case something goes wrong, like the power goes out, whatever, I can recover this format and change it into MP4 format, which is great. Thanks to OBS Studio having that option. Now for encoder, I use H.264. Because of course I have a GTX 970. Hopefully in the future I may get another graphics card, but so far, that's for another time. But I've been using the NVIDIA NVENC right here, and I have no problems with it. Now for the encoder settings, I use CQP now. I used to use VBR, but with CQP, it has been a little bit more better, and just, I guess it's just newer when it comes to, like the shadow play probably, or just trying to get the right settings for OBS Studio. I've been using CQP. You could copy the settings if you want to, but just remember, play around, see what works best for you in case the recording doesn't come out well. So that's how I have it for the encoder settings. And finally here in advanced, mostly everything is at default. Color format is at NV12, color space is at 709, and color range is at limited. And after that, I'm good to go. I click on OK. And now I'm going to show you how to add your capture card to OBS Studio. Now we're going to add our video capture device. So make sure you have a scene and go to your sources, and you're going to click on the plus button, and you're going to go to where it says video capture device. And once you're here, you name it whatever you want to, and I already have one existing. And once you click on OK, a preview window should open, and it should look like this. Now on device, I use the very first one, HD60 S, unlike the Elgato Game Capture HD. This is mostly meant for the software or maybe the older version of the original Elgato capture card, but I cannot attest to that. But I mostly keep everything in the very first one, which is HD60S. Now to config video, you don't really need to do anything. What I do recommend is sometimes playing around with the color range depending on what games you're playing. Like shrink, the colors are a little bit more darker, and expand, the colors are a little bit more brighter. So it really depends on you how you want your videos to look like. But for me, I'm going to keep it in the middle, which is bypass. And everything else here, the other tabs, just keep it normal. Don't play around with it and just keep it at default. Now finally down here, I have my resolution at custom instead of default device. Have the resolution at 1080p. And of course my frame rate is at 60 while everything else is at default. And that's how I have it for my game capture on OBS Studio. Now we gotta make this whole entire capture a 4:3 aspect ratio. So we're gonna right click on the source of the video capture. You're gonna go to transform, edit, transform. And once you are here, what you're gonna do is go to position alignment, should be top left, and your bound box type, make sure it's in scale to inner bounds. Keep your alignment in center, and your box size, make sure it's at 1920 by 1080. So what we need to switch to make it 4:3 is right here. You gotta switch this number to 1440 by 960. And I will say this is the proper resolution when it comes to a 4:3 aspect ratio on a 1080p screen or a 1080p resolution. I've always been following this format, and so far that's how I keep the 4:3 on my older generation console games. And that's pretty much it. You gotta close it, and now we're gonna work on how to get rid of the flickering effect on the PS2 games. Now the reason why I'm using Street Fighter EX3 right here for the game itself, as you can see, is flickering up and down like crazy. And this is one of those games that has this problem. I'm not sure why, but again, it might have to be the resolution or whether they did the development on the game that the image is not working. So there you go. The ground, the text, the health bar, the EX bars, they just don't look very good on the video. But if I switch to, let's say, in the main menu, I'm switching items or anything else on different games, you gotta see it again, it's bopping up and down, up and down. So it's not just the gameplay, it could also be just the images that you are changing around or that you need to select something. You will see again this bopping effect, and it will happen a couple of seconds after. So the way to get rid of this, or at least minimize it, we're gonna go again, right click on your video capture source. You're gonna go to deinterlacing. So we have a couple options right here, but for me, I keep it at bottom field first. You can select top as well, but once again, you might have to play around to see what games offer or which is the best options for them. Now for me, I keep it at bottom. Now there's a lot of deinterlacing right here. For me, I choose blend or blend 2. I have tried the other ones, but some of them are a little bit, some of them are good, some of them are bad. But most of the time I keep mine at blend or blend 2. So now we're gonna see the effects that happening again, the bobbing effect or the flickering effect on the game. And we are going to select blend right here. So right there, it's happening, blend. And look at that, it just gets rid of it. And that's what I really love about OBS Studio, just by that one little filter. So we're gonna do it one more time. We're gonna deinterlace, I'm gonna disable it. And it's happening again, blend, and it's gone. And that's what I really love about, again, OBS Studio for having that deinterlace filter. But once again, you can see that, the health bar, the images, the EX bars, it's just gone, which is really amazing. And one last thing, I also keep the filtering or scale filtering at point or area for at least the older generation consoles. If you want more information about this, I'll leave a video down in the description for showing you on how it works. But this is mostly meant for like pixel type of games, but as well just making everything a little bit more, not sharper, but like for areas that are a little bit pixelated, it's gonna make, you know, those type of edges just more sharper. So either area or point. But that is it, guys. That is how I set up everything with the PlayStation 2, with the deinterlacing, with the 4:3 aspect ratio. And now you can start hitting that record button on OBS Studio so you could get started on playing your PlayStation 2 games and record them. So the first game I'm going to show off for gameplay is going to be Street Fighter EX3, and everything comes out very well, guys. Of course, like I said, you are going to have those problems with the flickering, so you will have to play around again with the deinterlacing. But overall, inputs are great. It's a very floating game, I will say. A little bit fast-paced, but if you do have a friend, you could do co-op, which is a lot of fun, I will say. But once again, Street Fighter EX3 comes out very well, very nice when you are playing it. So the next game we have here is another fighting game, which is Tekken 4. And I was very impressed on how everything looked, like the character models, the buildings, the floor, the rails. Like, it's just a very beautiful game, I would say, for the PlayStation 2. But overall as well, there was no lag. I did not feel any miss inputs, even though I'm not best at Tekken. But I did have a lot of fun when I was just playing the normal arcade mode on the PS2. So once again, I do recommend playing this game, but overall it did work on the capture card. So the next game we have here is NFL Blizt, and I think this might be a sequel to the originals on the N64. I could be wrong. I might have to do my research on this, but as a sports game, you could pass, you could run, and of course, everything works well. So I would say when it comes to sports game, everything looks nice. It doesn't look too dark or too bright, but everything works well with sports games on the capture card.
The ball comes loose, and Minnesota has the football.
Hey man, were you looking for this? I'll take care of it for you.
So the next game we have here is going to be MidnightClub II, and so far with this game, everything came out very well. Unfortunately, that there are some areas like dark alleyways or dark paths that are a little bit too dark. When I was playing on my television, everything was a little bit more brighter, but on the video capture card, it just seems too dark. So I would say you may have to play around the settings on this game and maybe on your video editing software so you can adjust those dark areas to give you a little bit more detail, you know, like on the roads, on the buildings, on the tiles, walls, like that, just to give it a little bit more detail. But overall, everything came out great. I was able to drive, use the boost, and all that stuff. So handling as well was great. So the only complaint I would say is just the video is too dark.
Wow, that is really excellent, champion. You're flying.
So last game I was going to show off is going to be Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and this is my favorite all-time PlayStation game, so I'm going to have more experience with it. And overall, the visuals, the models, key blast, key charge, super attack, ultimate attack just come out great. And it's very nice to play a lot of these anime games. I know they have a lot of visuals, a lot of effects around them, but overall, I didn't get disturbed by them. But as well, the combos, there is no lag at all when you're doing combos in this game. So if you have not played Budokai Tenkaichi 3, I do recommend it as an anime fighting game. And overall, all these games work perfectly when you set it up on your capture card.
That's enough. I got you. Sorry, I win this one.
So now you made it to the end of the video, guys, and I just want to say thank you for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, because I would have not done it in case you guys wanted to know on how to record your PlayStation 2 games on your capture card. I know there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of ways to record it, but I would say this is the best and correct way in order for you to get the best quality out of your PlayStation 2 games. But overall, guys, make sure to share this video as well, and make sure to check out the other videos down in the description for more information. But overall, thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Keep on playing and game for life, guys. See you later.